Have you ever wondered why some agile teams struggle despite following the process? Often, the answer lies in the agile anti-patterns, common pitfalls that blocks true agility. In this episode of Agile Exploration Hub, we will talk with Soundarya, a certified agile coach, a PSM2 certified Scrum Master, lead working in one of the largest organization in the world, who has 13 plus years of experience driving transformation across the industry. She will share real world examples of anti patterns and why they happen, how to avoid them. If you're a scrum master or an agile coach or aspiring leader, this episode will give you practical strategies to spot pitfalls early and guide your team towards genuine agility. So don't miss it. S- Stay till the end and watch, share your views. So without wasting much time, let's welcome Soundarya. Hi, Soundarya.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction, Nagesh.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good. Yes. So festive season, as we discuss, we start our discussion. So happy Ganesha to everyone, and uh, to my audience. As you know, we record on weekends. Every Monday we publish new episodes. So I will request all of you to subscribe to my channel and watch till then. And today's topic is all about anti-patterns, which we often see everywhere. So without wasting much time, let's head into the discussion. Soundarya, what exactly are anti-patterns, and why do they matter?
Uh, I would say agile anti-patterns are like recurring practices which we see day in, day out in every Scrum team and agile team. It pretty much looks very useful to the team, but might not bring the business agility or the value it should really bring about. So it's like the faulty habits which we are trying to have, and the weeds which we are having in a garden where we really wanted some tomatoes and roses, but we have is the weeds.
Okay, that's a nice analogy. So something which we don't want into our garden, or something which is let's say we are following agile practice and something which we don't want, like that. Okay, great. So now uh, we already know there are many anti-patterns, but which anti-patterns do you see most of the Scrum team or Scrum Master uh, that that follow or that practice?
Uh, Pretty much in my experience, I would say daily Scrum is a single event which has a high density of anti-patterns. So this
Mhm.
is where the developers need to be anchored to a particular sprint goal. Whereas if they are really doing any administration work or any other work which doesn't support the sprint goal, which where the orientation is lost, um, so all the other anti-patterns will follow line by line when you don't anchor it to the sprint goal. Especially when there are some value-related anti-patterns as well, where there is a disrespect that might happen while a particular developer or a team member is talking and others are intruding, and especially when the time box is not usually respected, and when often when a know all when a technical or any person who knows it all comes and asks question, who's no seen every single issue that is happening, that really tampers uh, the collaboration between the team and the accountability the developers have towards their sprint goal and the sprint backlog. So it should be more of a collaborative measure rather than a individualistic way, I would say. And Another predominant one would be on the ticketing. I would call it as ticketing,
Okay.
where a bus conductor would come and give tickets to all the passengers. So that's where all the product owner or the stakeholder, or if they try to intrude into our daily Scrum and they start giving tickets to all the developers, and they don't have the accountability to get into the sprint goal or define the sprint goal themselves. So that's what I'm seeing in daily life.
Absolutely. They're like, instead of team picking up the tickets, they are pushing the tickets first thing. And as Soundarya said, it may be daily Scrum turning into a status update meeting. Right. There is no communication towards the sprint goal. Right.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So okay. So now most of my audience is Scrum Master, or those who are want to become an Agile coach.
Mhm.
Now, as a Scrum Master, how can I identify these anti-patterns at early stage?
Um, So very easy method, I would say, is whether all these Scrum events are being followed or not. That's pretty much easy way to find whether any anti patterns are keep coming in.
Mhm.
So the one uh, uh, the one event which always fall into this trap is the sprint retrospective, wherein the team will be very busy in developing the towards the sprint goal, and a lot of planning would have been happening. So the sprint planning and the daily Scrum will definitely happen. And the sprint retrospective is always which falls into the trap. So they always have a lot of ideas in mind to improve the process, improve the team's collaborations, but they don't have time to do it. Or that's what the management has said. So more on those traps, the retro falls into place. I feel that should be avoided every single time, at least if they don't reach the time box, at least they can take it up for few minutes and add up what they're thinking of. And another one I would say is the smuggling cargo, like a lot of work that is happening towards the sprint goal, which has probably the dependencies, the environments, anything. They're just under the deck. They don't really come into the Jira board, although the team is really hard working on that. So these are the things we need to identify as a Scrum Master during all these events, so that they don't fall into the trap of getting into a lot of anti-patterns. Um, Another one thing I wanted to say is that the sprint might get cancelled due to various reasons, wherein the sprint goal is becomes obsolete or the market conditions changes. It can be any reasons, but in case the sprint gets ought to be cancelled, or a decision has made, still the team proceeds with the sprint related items.
Right.
So that's where I feel it's my own prerogative that in order to get the budgets, or in order to consume the budget we already have, they still go on with the product backlog items, although the sprint has been cancelled. So that's
Absolutely. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. Yeah, good point. You mentioned a very valid point about retrospective. Sometimes it becomes just a tick in the box. They
hmm,
just people come, they say hi, hello, and everything, nothing to be discussed, and went off. But actual purpose is missing. So that's a if you're not doing the inspect and adopt into your retrospective, that's a biggest anti-pattern that we can see in the Scrum.
yeah.
So that's one of the things. Yeah. Well, okay. So now, uh, let's say leaders now. Let's talk about few of the leaders. What what role do leaders play in creating or removing anti-patterns?
Um, I would say they also create some anti-patterns
Right.
unknowingly. And there are some leaders who thrive to remove those already existing anti-patterns. So if we go for creating those anti-patterns, um, so it's where the hierarchy and the structure comes into the picture. If a particular manager or a line manager suddenly comes into a Scrum call, the team in fact loses the confidence which they have already have, and probably they might be end up doing a couple of admin activities as well, which is not part of the sprint goal. And all generally I feel is that senior managers might be looking more on the appraisal part, where they wanted to appraise the individual performance as well. And that's where they are keen on the number of commits they have, the number of deployments that they have made, the number of velocity that they have worked for. So, but the value that probably they should also consider seeing the measuring the business value rather than just measuring the velocity of the team. And if they start pampering all the individualistic qualities, they probably end up not having a collaborative environment wherein people start to have a lot of quarrels between each other. So that's where they should sit back and see what the team is capable of doing. And they should leave the accountability at least at a sprint level in order to see how they are progressing towards the sprint. So that's on creating a couple of anti-patterns.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And on removing those anti-patterns, I have seen a lot of leaders wherein they have lived up to the values. So I generally call it as a frog, wherein they have the commitment, they have the focus, and they have the courage to tell what is wrong in a team, what is wrong, even his upper management of him, and also on the commitment they have. So these values should be lived upon by the leaders themselves, so that this will be an example for the other team members to catch up rather than being a bottom up.
Absolutely well said. Absolutely well said. So leaders should lead from the front. They should not just preach, they practice. They should practice what they are preaching. So if, like she said, what Soundarya is mentioning, if leaders practice respecting team members, teams, groups, so that practice will be nicely embraced by the team. So very nicely said. So now, as we got to know about the leaders, but now let's say still teams are following these anti-patterns, or they have their anti-patterns. How does it impact to their, first of all, teamwork, second thing about the delivery outcome?
Um, so first of all, if you don't reach the sprint goal or what is expected out of you, the general confidence of the key stakeholders, the users, will drastically reduce. I've seen it in first hand multiple times. So that's when you need to see that the timing of it, when you need to do what kind of work. And a lot of times the team members really cherry pick the items. So whatever they know already, they just do their work every single time in every single sprint. So there is no cross-functional learning that is happening within the team. So even if they finish the sprint goal, product owner also should not come and give the next set of product backlog items that can be done. So those, I feel that those durations has to be utilized for learning or cross training. So that's when the developers or the Scrum team becomes more empowered. So these are some impacts that might happen if you follow the anti-patterns. And in case if you start removing those weeds one by one, you'll see the flower blooming.
Great. Yeah, nice. And now, what strategy works best for breaking persistent or continuous anti-patterns? Any strategies?
Um, I would often say to my team that always blame the process and not the people who follows it. So if you blame a process, it's easy to change. And if you blame a team or a people, the probability of changing is very difficult. And always, as we already know, while we are removing from any bad habit, it not be an anti-pattern for that instance, you need to reinforce more positive habits so that these anti-patterns or the bad habits which you already have fades away automatically. So as a Scrum Master, we need to reinforce the team to start practicing one or two items which will eventually weed away the anti-patterns. And that's where you can see the anti-patterns going away. And probably, as I said again, we should invest more in learning, uh, uh, be it internal certification, or be it any external certification, or be it any webinar or course. It need not be certification every single time. So if there is a continuous learning and improvement that is happening, then it's worthwhile to go and learn.
Nice. That's nice. So now, what I want to add here is um, understand the process, guys. What the process your organization has been, and try to optimize that. Try to take it to the next level. So I always say that walk the talk. So when whatever you're saying, or whatever the teams are talking, it should be implemented. So I'll give you an example. Um, in one of the process that I worked with in one of my organization, there was the Jira ticket doesn't have a feature of blocking it. But normally my team used to say that I'm blocked. Now I cannot tell leadership that my team is blocked on so many tickets because they are asking for a number. That's the anti-pattern we observed in the process. Now, what we have decided, we to decide to optimize this process. So what Soundarya want to say here is, do not blame the people. Understand the process and try to improvise and correct it on it. So, Soundarya, moving on to our last question, do you recommend any books to read to upcoming Scrum Master or Agile coaches?
Absolutely. So if they are really keen on understanding what anti-patterns are and to understand how to remove them, so I would suggest Scrum Anti-Pattern Guide by Stephen Ulpers.
Hmm.
So and he's also giving a course within which he explains all the anti-patterns, how teams can be changing when we remove all these anti-patterns. That's one thing. And another would be The Product Delight by Nisring Changwell. So this is a new book where she has given a lot about how a product can be delightful to the users. So that's when the real business value kicks in. So if we understand that, probably bringing up the product goal and the sprint goal is pretty much easier.
And just want to understand which one is your favorite anti-pattern to break?
Uh, Anti-pattern to break is the individualistic behavior which team generally brings in. So uh, every time I fostered the collaboration by having some games within them, or try to bring some challenge which is already existing, and allow them to do it themselves, break the challenge themselves. So that's where the team collaboration happens.
Great. It was pleasure talking to you, Soundarya. It was very nice discussion. Really enjoyed it. So to my audience, if you really enjoyed this very nice video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and share it to your friends. So once again, from the team of Agile Exploration Hub, I would like to say thank you, Soundarya, for being such a wonderful speaker.
Yeah. Thank you, Nagesh.
Thanks.